We're delighted to welcome Peter Mullin into the Concours Virtual. Peter is a businessman and philanthropist and owns a very fine collection of classic cars in the Mullin Automotive Museum. Peter Mullin is a regular entrant at concours throughout the world and is known particularly for his exquisite collection of classic French automobiles and Grand Prix race cars. And we were really delighted that Peter offered to display his 1939 Delahaye 165 Trigonian Fallaci in the concours. And I'm not sure whether you know yet, Peter, but it is in the shortlist and down to the top 5 cars. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you very much.
It's a beautiful car. We'll come on and talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to give you an opportunity just to talk a little bit about the Mullin Automotive Museum.
Sure. Well, it's a museum in Oxnard, California, and it's, as you guys perhaps know, is almost exclusively focused on French coach-built cars from either pre-war or a little bit post-war. And I've been collecting French cars, coach-built French cars for quite a while now, I guess maybe close to 30 years. And we put them on display in our museum in Oxnard. And so the kind of concept is that we want to share them with the public as opposed to just have, something that we have ourselves. Because it seems to me that the real trick is to play the role as a curator. These cars were built before I was born, most of them, and they'll be a long time after I'm gone. So my job is to take care of them and then share them with the public, and that's the reason that it's a public museum. And it's a great privilege and a great thrill for me to participate in them and to make sure that we're taking care of them in the right way. So I don't know whether that's a helpful recap, but that's actually the driving force behind our collection.
No, that's really useful. And as you say, you're a custodian of history in many ways, but also I know you're very generous with the cars, and they're often found at many of the major concours throughout the world as well. So how many concours do you tend to visit?
Well, it kind of depends. With COVID, it kind of depends on when things are open and when there aren't. But I've been showing cars in concours for, as I said, about 30 years, and probably on average six a year. And I try to vary the entrance so that people get a chance to see something that they probably never have had a chance to see up close. So probably 30 years times 6 per year. So that's the math.
Yeah, getting close to 200 plus cars at various concours over that period of time, which is great that you're able to do so, and many people get to see the cars that reside in your collection. So I think David wants to talk a little bit about the Delahaye now, which is in the...
Sure.
Well,
sure.
It's I'm a fan of that car. I've seen it up close and personal. I guess Concours Virtual is the next best thing. At least we can share it around to the many thousands, hundreds of thousands actually have been clicking on the site. you've had it a long time. Can you talk us through quickly about its early history and how it exists at all, please, Peter?
Well, it was the New York World's Fair car in 1939, and so there were two Fagoni Delahayes produced. One was for the Paris exhibition, and one's for the New York World's Fair. And ours is the New York World's Fair car, which came into our collection about 30 years ago, but before that had a variety, several owners, and was displayed in the New York World's Fair with a cutout on the side of the car in order to make sure that the engine and engine turning could also be viewed even with the car hood closed. Yeah. So given one of two in the world, the New York World's Fair car and the Paris exhibition car, we were, very, very happy, pleased to have that end up in our care.
And there's a remarkable story, isn't there, about it was for a while it had a Cadillac engine in, and then
it had a Cadillac engine in it because the final engine block wasn't 100% finished for the World's Fair, so that it was, there, but had parts inside that we needed to ultimately find. And Hubertus von Dönhoff from Germany actually had identified the original engine. So we underwent that restoration and put the original engine back in as opposed to the Cadillac V12.
And isn't there a story of how you came across all the original engine and the correct parts for it?
Yes, I mean it was von Dönhoff who had it in Germany, and he didn't really know that the car existed. He knew that he had the engine, the original engine, and of course we were lucky enough to find both the car and the engine. So then we underwent restoration to bring it exactly back to what it was supposed to be in the beginning. Unfortunately, took about 8 years, but you guys know all about that. So.
Yes. Yeah, it's very true. And as far as your collection goes, where does the Delahaye sit? It must be one of the stars, really, mustn't it?
Definitely one of the very handful of stars. We have a Bugatti Atlantique, which is a candidate for that, and a Type 55 and so on. But the V12 Delahaye is really the standout, which is on display in the middle of the museum on a turntable, so that the public can see it from every angle, up close and personal.
I remember that, seeing it there. I think I was there last when you had the Bugatti family exhibition with all their...
That's right. Oh, you got a good memory. That's right, exactly right. We had all the family members there for the Bugatti exhibition. But
that was remarkable. Sorry, Peter, carry on.
Well, no, I was just going to say, but even though it was a Bugatti exhibition, the kind of queen of the star of the show was the Delahaye 165. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And at the moment, is the museum unfortunately closed? Am I right in thinking that?
It is unfortunately closed and should be opened by maybe the 15th of September. But it's open upstairs, outside, so that we're serving there, and we're looking out over the ocean. And so it's not the same as, having the entire collection on display, but it's amazing how many people have decided that they want to take that trip and have a meal and sit up on top of the deck overlooking the ocean. Of course, it's a pretty nice setup, a nice display, so that people like it. But I'd say we probably have 70% of the normal population of visitors is coming, even though it's closed. So that surprised me, frankly, that there would be that many people that would take the trip up the coastline and not be able to go inside the museum. But
yeah,
there we have it.
Well, you've had a few virtual tours as well, haven't you?
Well, we've had a number of virtual tours, yes, and we try to, feature both the cars and the photos and the background and history. So it's more than just coming to a location to look out at the ocean.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. No, that's fantastic, Peter. Thank you so much for talking us through that. I'll hand back to Dave.
Okay.
Right. Well, yeah. Just to say again, thank you, Peter. It's been a real pleasure to have the Delahaye 165 in the Concours. We really thank you for offering that to us, and an awful lot of people have been able to view that. And it come the middle of next month, when hopefully you are able to open the museum again. Then I would urge everybody to go and have a look at it. It is one of the most remarkable collections of French pre-war coach-built cars that you'll ever find. It's well worth a visit, and the view across the ocean is pretty spectacular as well, isn't it? So it's worth it just to see that, which is why I can see why so many people are still visiting. So thank you very much, Peter. And
well, thank you. A pleasure to talk with both of you.